Hi, and welcome to English-Fabule. Are you learning English? Great. Let's learn English with a very interesting story. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment. Let's get started.
A Mayan priest stands inside a grand temple, surrounded by soft candlelight. He holds a dark, sharp blade. This blade is not for human sacrifice, but for something else very important. He uses it to consecrate a special drink. This drink is thick, bitter, and spicy, made from crushed cacao beans and water. Foam rises from the vessel like smoke. For the Mayans, this drink was worth more than gold. It was deeply sacred, a gift from the gods, in times long past, around 1500 BCE. Today, chocolate is a giant industry, earning $123 billion every year. We see sweet candy bars everywhere. But this modern chocolate carries a secret. It has an invisible price tag. This price tag is the dark legacy of much blood and suffering. This suffering has continued from ancient times, starting around 1500 BCE, all the way to today. We will fully discover this sad history in Chapter 6 of our story. The chocolate industry now looks very clean and happy. Its products are beautiful and delicious. But its true origins were brutal and full of hardship. By the end of this entire story, you will never look at a simple candy bar in the same way again. For the Mayans, cacao was sacred. They respected it deeply and used it in important ceremonies. But a group of invaders was about to arrive. These invaders would not care for its sacred meaning. Instead, they would turn this precious cacao into a tool for global oppression and power. 2.
The first drink. The Mayans called the cacao tree Theobroma cacao, meaning food of the gods. This special plant did not begin in Mexico, but far away in the Amazon rainforest, in places like Ecuador and Peru. This was a puzzle. How did a tree from the Amazon become so important in Mexico? The Olmecs and Mayans found it, then made it sacred. They learned to grow and prepare it, turning it into a key part of their culture. The Olmecs, who lived around 1,500 years before Christ, were the first in Mexico to use cacao. They learned to prepare its bitter beans. Later, the Mayans made cacao a central part of their daily life and religion. But their drink was very different from today's sweet, solid chocolate. It was a frothy, thick liquid, bitter and spicy. People mixed ground cacao with water and sometimes chili peppers or corn. It tasted strong, almost like a special medicine. This powerful drink was not for everyone. In Aztec society, only important people could drink it: rich nobles, brave warriors, and wise priests. Emperor Montezuma was said to drink over 50 cups daily. Cacao beans also served as money. A rabbit cost 10 beans, and a human life cost 100 beans. This showed how valuable cacao was. The Mayans even placed cacao in the tombs of the dead, hoping it would help them in the next life. For centuries, the rest of the world did not know about this food of the gods. The main reason was a missing taste.
The drink was very bitter for European people. It did not have sugar or milk to make it sweet, so the true pleasure of cacao remained a secret, kept by the cultures of Mesoamerica. Then, in the early 1500s, Spanish explorers, called conquistadors, arrived in Mexico. They saw the native people drinking cacao. The Spanish tried it, but they did not like it. It was bitter, cold, and strange to them. They thought it was a rough drink. This moment was important. It started a big change for chocolate. Its journey began, moving from a sacred, bitter liquid to something new. 3. Sugar and ships. The Spanish explorers first encountered cacao in the lands of the Aztecs. At first, they did not like the bitter, spicy drink, but they saw how much the local people valued it. Soon, the Spanish began to change the recipe. Around the year 1590, they started adding new things. They put in honey, vanilla, and spices like cinnamon. Most importantly, they added sugar. Sugar came from far away. It was grown on large farms called plantations in the Caribbean islands. These plantations needed many workers. To get workers, Europeans brought enslaved people from Africa. This was a terrible time in history. Millions of Africans were taken from their homes and forced to work in harsh conditions. The demand for sweet drinks in Europe, like chocolate, coffee, and tea, made the slave trade grow quickly.
So, chocolate, once a sacred drink, became part of a system of great suffering. It was linked to sugar, a tragic product grown by enslaved labor. Chocolate became a sweet luxury drink for rich people in Europe. It spread from Spain to Italy, France, and other countries in the 1600s. Special chocolate houses opened in big cities like London in the year 1657. These were places where wealthy people met to drink chocolate. Even with sugar, chocolate was still only a drink. There was another problem. When people made hot chocolate, a layer of oil or grease floated on top. This made the drink less appealing. For more than 200 years, this puzzle frustrated chemists. They could not find a way to make the drink smooth and pleasant. Then, big changes came with the Industrial Revolution, bringing new machines and factories. In the year 1828, a Dutch chemist made a very important discovery. His name was Conrad van Houten. He invented a special machine called a cocoa press. This machine could take the fat, called cocoa butter, out of the cacao beans. This was a huge step. It meant that chocolate would soon change from a greasy drink into something completely different. 4. Making it solid. The 19th century brought big changes for chocolate. People began to make it solid, not just a drink. These were like industrial alchemists, changing chocolate with science.
First, there was a Dutch chemist named Conrad van Houten in 1828. He invented a special machine called a cocoa press. This press could separate the cocoa butter from the cocoa solids. Before this, cocoa butter stayed in the chocolate, making drinks oily and not very nice. Now the butter could be taken out. What was left was a fine cocoa powder. This powder was easier to mix and less bitter. This invention was very important. It meant solid chocolate could finally be made. Cocoa butter could be put back with cocoa powder, sugar, and milk. This mix could be shaped into a smooth, solid bar. However, there was still a problem with making milk chocolate. Chocolate needs to be very dry. Milk, however, is mostly water. Water would make the chocolate go bad. A Swiss businessman and chemist named Henri Nestle found the answer. He made condensed milk, which is milk with most of the water removed. This milk could be kept for a long time. In 1875, another Swiss chocolate maker, Daniel Peter, worked with Nestle. He mixed Nestle's condensed milk with cocoa powder and cocoa butter. This mix made the first solid milk chocolate bar possible. Peter and Nestle then worked together, creating the famous Nestle company. Milk chocolate became real for everyone to buy. But chocolate still needed to be smoother. In 1879, a Swiss chocolate maker named Rodolphe Lindt invented the conching machine.
This machine stirred and mixed chocolate for many hours. It took away bad tastes and made the chocolate very smooth. People say Lindt might have found this by accident. The story goes that he left his machine running over a weekend. When he came back on Monday, the chocolate was perfectly smooth and silky. Whether this story is true or not, his machine made chocolate taste truly good. By the late 1800s, chocolate was no longer just a special drink for rich people. It was a solid, tasty treat that could be carried and bought easily. It was ready to be enjoyed by more and more people. But there was one more barrier: the price. A man in Pennsylvania was about to build a factory. This factory would change chocolate forever, making it cheap enough for everyone. 5. Big business. Chapter 5 saw chocolate turn into big business. Companies like Hershey, Cadbury, and Mars became very powerful. They changed chocolate from a special luxury into something everyone could buy and enjoy every day, creating a massive global market. Milton S. Hershey, an American businessman, was key to this transformation. He learned candy making and started his own company. After seeing new chocolate machines at a big exhibition in Chicago in 1893, he had a big idea. Hershey decided to build a large chocolate factory in Pennsylvania, his home state, in 1903. By 1905, the factory was making affordable milk chocolate for many people. He created famous chocolates like Hershey's Kisses, using new automated machines that made them fast and cheap. Hershey did not just build a factory, he built a whole town around it, with homes, schools, and parks for his workers. He believed chocolate should be cheap enough for every family, not just the rich. In England, the Cadbury Company also grew significantly. It started as a small shop in 1824. Later, the family used new industrial machines to produce more chocolate. By 1905, their dairy milk bar was very popular across the country. Like Hershey, Cadbury also built a special village, Bournville, for its workers. This showed how big businesses could integrate into people's lives. Other major companies appeared too, such as Mars Incorporated, started by Forrest Mars in the 1930s. Together, these titans of industry made chocolate a truly global, everyday product. They learned how to make chocolate that people found hard to stop eating. This was done by finding the bliss point, the perfect mix of sugar and fat. This special combination makes your brain want more chocolate. Modern milk chocolate has much more sugar than real cocoa, and this sweet mix makes it very appealing. This specific design helps companies sell huge amounts of chocolate. This new, affordable chocolate was incredibly popular. During World War I, soldiers received chocolate in their food rations. When they came home, they still craved it. This created a huge demand for chocolate bars from normal people. To make so much chocolate and keep prices low, often just 5 cents a bar, companies needed a massive, constant supply of cacao beans. This need led to a big change in where cacao came from. The industry moved its focus to West Africa, far away from the eyes of Western consumers. This shift to West Africa would soon cause new, serious problems in the way chocolate was produced, moving the story to a darker place. 6.
the dark secret. The chocolate bar in your hand has a hidden cost. This is the invisible price we spoke about earlier. Most of the world's cocoa beans come from West Africa, especially from countries like Ivory Coast and Ghana. Farmers there work very hard to grow the cacao trees, but many people do not know what happens in these places. Imagine you buy a chocolate bar for $5. Who gets the money? The farmers who grow the beans get a very small part. They often receive only about 30 cents from that $5 bar. This means the people who do the first, hardest work earn very little. This low pay makes life difficult for many families. Because farmers earn so little, many children must work on the cocoa farms. This is called child labor. Around 2.1 million children work in Ivory Coast and Ghana on these farms. Some are as young as 5 years old. They do very dangerous jobs. They use sharp tools like machetes and work with strong farm chemicals.
They carry heavy baskets of cocoa pods under the hot sun. These children often cannot go to school because they are busy working to help their families. Think about the happy pictures of chocolate you see. On Valentine's Day, people give chocolate as a sign of love. But the truth of where chocolate comes from is very different. It is not always a sweet story. It is a story of hard work, low pay, and dangerous conditions for many people and children. This human cost is very high. But there is another big problem too. The way chocolate is made today also hurts the environment. Farmers have cut down many forests to plant more cacao trees. This has damaged nature. Now something new is threatening the cacao trees themselves. A dangerous virus is spreading. It makes the trees sick and stops them from growing cocoa beans. This virus could destroy the cocoa industry completely. 7. A dying tree. The cacao trees in West Africa are facing big problems. First, many forests are cut down to make more space for cacao farms. In Ivory Coast, nearly 90% of the old forests are gone because of this. Cutting down trees makes the weather even worse for the cacao plants. Second, the climate is changing. West Africa now has about 40 more very hot days each year. These high temperatures are too much for cacao trees to grow well. Experts from Wageningen University say that by 2060, half of the land used for cacao in Ivory Coast might become too hot and dry. This means the West African cacao belt, where most of the world's cacao comes from, could disappear. Third, a tree sickness called the cacao swollen shoot virus is spreading. This virus is carried by small insects and makes the trees very sick. Since it was first seen in Ghana in 1936, it has destroyed many cacao harvests. Sometimes 15 to 50% of the beans are lost in one season because of this virus. To fight these problems, big chocolate companies are looking for new solutions. Mars Incorporated, a large chocolate maker, is using advanced science called CRISPR gene editing. This technology helps scientists change the genes of cacao plants. The goal is to create super trees that can resist diseases and survive in hotter, drier weather. Penn State University also uses this science to make plants stronger. Their edited plants show much smaller sick spots on leaves. But a big question remains. Can this new technology work fast enough? Can these super trees save the cacao farms before climate change destroys them? Even if science can save the trees, one thing is clear. The time of very cheap chocolate might be ending. Growing cacao is becoming harder and more costly. If everyone in the world ate as much chocolate as people in rich countries,
we would need 10 times more cacao farms. This cannot happen without further harming the planet. So people who buy chocolate will need to make a choice.
They must decide if they are ready to pay more for chocolate that is grown in a way that is fair and does not harm the earth. The current system, with its low prices and high environmental cost, cannot last much longer. The future. The future of chocolate holds different paths. One important path is the bean-to-bar movement. Here, small chocolate makers carefully choose their cacao beans. They work directly with farmers, making sure the farmers get a fair price. This process means the chocolate is made with more care and respect, from the farm to your hand. It often tastes better, too, with unique flavors. People who buy this kind of chocolate want to know where their food comes from. They care that it is made in a good way, helping both people and the planet. More than 2,500 of these small makers have started in less than 20 years, showing a growing wish for ethical and high-quality chocolate. However, this craft chocolate is still a small part of the market. Big companies like Hershey, Cadbury, and Nestle still sell most of the chocolate around the world. This leads to a future with two kinds of chocolate. For some people, chocolate will be a special, expensive treat. It will be made with care and respect for people and the earth. For many others, chocolate might become something different. It could be more like a sweet candy, with less real cacao inside.
It might even be made from new ingredients grown in labs, simply tasting like chocolate. This is because the world's demand for cheap chocolate is still very high. The journey of cacao has been long. It started as a sacred drink for ancient Mayans, precious and used in ceremonies. Then explorers and traders turned it into a sweet luxury for the rich. Later, large factories made it cheap and common so everyone could enjoy it. But this change caused many problems, like harming workers and destroying parts of the environment. We must think about the true cost of our chocolate. Today, a chocolate bar often costs very little money in the store, but the real price is hidden in the hard work of farmers and the health of our planet. The way we consume chocolate now at such huge amounts cannot continue forever. If everyone on Earth ate as much chocolate as people in rich countries, the world would need 10 times more cacao. This massive demand is not possible to meet without hurting the earth and its people even more. The cacao bean was once seen as sacred. Maybe we need to think of it that way again. We need to respect the plant and the people who grow it. This means we must make choices about the chocolate we buy. Is that small indulgence truly worth the invisible cost to others and to nature? The story of chocolate is still being written every time you choose a bar. What choice will you make the next time you pick up chocolate from the store?
Hey there! Just a second before you go. If you learned something new today, please give this video a like, write your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to the channel. It only takes a second, and it really, really helps to create even better English videos for you. Your support means the world. Thank you.